equation of a line in Scratch, because we're using, in many cases, graphs from image files as our backdrops, you can't rely on the slopes and y-intercepts that you see on or in those images. So what we do is we compute the equation of a line using information from Scratch. Like, for example, I uploaded this backdrop along with a sprite, and that sprite is located initially at this point 48 negative 124. So what I can do is I can type that into Desmos. That would be a single coordinate. All right. So then what I would need is another point along that graph. Oops. So I would move my sprite a little bit further down the line. So that gets me to a new coordinate of 164 negative 3. All right, so between these two coordinates, I could find the slope of this line. So I have a point. Either of these 2 points will be fine. I don't even need to see the picture. All I would need to do is compute the slope, and I would have a way of coming up with the equation of that line. So the slope, again, change in y over change in x, I would get that by dividing the negative 3 minus the negative 124 by 164. I don't want to lose my values here. Minus a 48. All right, so the slope is about 1.0431. All right, so in the image, it looks like the slope is about a 1, but we're coming up with something a little bit off of that. And now we just need to know, is that number going to be so significant that it's going to cause a problem? Well, we'll find out in a minute. All right, so I'm going to just copy paste this, or just copy it, Command C, go into my Scratch. I'll do a quick, let's see here, on, when space is pressed, I guess, because I already have another sprite that's going to go through all the motions, so I want to have this one do a little something different. All right, so I'm going to have it wait a few seconds, let's say 5 seconds, so that my other sprite does all its stuff. All right. And so I need it to go back to its initial position, which would be at 48. All right, so I could type it in and verify it, but I don't really need to. So 48 is where I want my x value to start. All right, so I have x, I have y, so I'm going to set my variable x to 48. I'm going to have it go to that location. So where's my go to? I don't want it to go to the end. I want it to go to the beginning. So 48. I already forgot. Negative 124, I think. Yep. So I guess I didn't forget. I just wasn't ready to commit to it. So then I'm going to repeat until the x value gets to 164. So let me grab an x. And the thing that I'm going to repeat is the operation where I set y to be equal to, the idea is to use the model, the linear model, because it's the most convenient one. All right, so that linear model is in the form of y equals m times x minus h plus k. All right, that's the form we want to be using. All right, so that's what I want to build. The h and k is a coordinate, the m is the slope. All right, so my k value is a negative 3. So if you kind of think about what I'm building here, I'm putting in an m value, that slope that we just came up with. You can just kind of pop that in there. the h value would be 164, so it's going to be minus 164 because the minus is already built in, then plus a negative 3, so minus 3. That would be the equation that I'm trying to get into, or I already have it into Desmos. I'm trying to get it into Scratch, all right? So when I build this equation, I want to have a minus separating a product of two factors, all right? So let me get a minus. Let me get a product. Those two factors now, so that's the other thing we have to consider. Those two factors are numerical, so that I could just pop right in, but also a variable component that involves a subtraction, right? X minus 164, so I need another minus. All right, so if I piece this along with that other pill, kind of drag it over, pop in the 3, I got my minus 3, I'll have my relation. All right, then I want to make a change. I'm sorry, I want to go to. In the end, it really doesn't matter what order we get those two in, but it's better logically if we do it this way. We want to go to the x and y values we just created, then make a small change, and that variable that we're changing is x, and have that process repeat starting from 48, ending at 164. All right, so I'm going to run it. That's the original one. All right, so that's my penguin from a previous video that I created. So that's going to do its thing. All right, so that's fine. Now I'm just going to hit the space bar and run this one. Oh, there we go. Had to hit it a few times for some reason. Oh, you know what? I didn't have to hit it a few times. I told it to wait 5 seconds, so I got to hit it, wait 5 seconds, and then it would move. So that's the thing. All right, but it's moving along that linear equation. It's just in a slightly different way than you might expect, because this is the line y equals x. You know, if you graph this on Desmos, you're graphing the line y equals x over a restricted domain. Right? That's not what we put in here, but that's because we're trying to convert. It's a unit conversion. We're trying to convert over from units of Desmos to units of Scratch.